From Texas, Mr. Pfluger for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the witnesses for being here and talking about this issue. I represent Angelo State University. It's a cyber center of excellence. They've taken steps in partnership with NSA and other government agencies to start developing the workforce in a way. Here's why this is important to me. When we think about the areas that provide that type of workforce, I think one of the big areas that is really missing is rural America. And that's why I'm passionate about what President Ronnie Hawkins is doing. Former retired three-star general from the Air Force, led DOD in its effort to transform the cyber side of our warfighting domain. And I'd like to hear really from each of you, how can a school like Angelo State, a rural serving institution with 12 to 14,000 students throughout the entirety of its programs, how can they be successful? And what's the advice or what's the vector that they need to go and other institutions like them to provide this workforce for our country? And we'll just start and go down the line.
Absolutely. Thank you, Congressman. And I strongly agree on the importance of building relationships with rural communities and pathways into public service. Participating in the NSA Centers for Academic Excellence in Cybersecurity is a great start. We're a proud partner with the NSA on that program. I would also say for any training institution right now, recognizing the pace of new developments in this field and ensuring that we are training our workforce not on any one specific technology that may be out of date very quickly, but on how to stay current, how to leverage increased automated and AI-based systems, and how to really stay on top of new and emerging threats is the most important thing these organizations can be doing.
Thank you. Ms. Beavers?
So I think leveraging the great work that's being done on the cyber workforce frameworks that have been built that actually identified the qualifications and the skills, and then also exploring opportunities for outreach and fun events that the DoD sponsors, like hackathons and things like that, to really increase the student body's excitement about getting involved. Mm-hmm. And so I think and encouraging internships would be my recommendation.
Which I know that they have focused on that. By the way, they're a minority serving institution, mostly Hispanic population that comes from our area in West Texas, and they really are proud of that work because they're sending good young men and women into the workforce. Mr. Peters?
Yeah, so I'm a product of rural America, so I have a soft spot for what it means. And I would just add to the discussion about community colleges, most community colleges are in rural areas or serving rural populations as well. In addition to the focus of this hearing on the demand, the 500,000 cybersecurity workers, there are a lot of other demographics that are working against us, like declining birth rates and the aging of Americans and the like. So we've run a series of webinars this year really focusing on underserved and underrepresented populations, starting with rural America, because there's lots of universities. We had the chancellor of the University of North Dakota system speaking about what they're doing across their vast state that is very rural, and a lot of tribal organizations as well. But specifically to the point, I think there's also a statistic about people tend to stay where they go to college or where they grow up. So the pandemic has opened up opportunities for remote work and telework and more flexible opportunities where they may be able to stay in their rural community but work, for a company or a government organization across the country. So I think part of the challenge and opportunity is to open up also more of those remote opportunities that maybe previously didn't exist.
It's a great point, and something that we're also working on, which is extending broadband and access to these communities, and there are several committees doing that. We'll leave you the last word.
Well, I actually met Charlotte from Angelo State. She invited me to join the Mayor's Cup in San Angelo. I would say I was one of the people who sent her congratulations email when the program got a CA designation. And the key thing is that we need to start elevating people's work. A lot of people are doing good work. I think the role of ONCD and the White House is to elevate some of this work. so that we can plug them into the ecosystem that they need, right? It's not about just one institution. I don't want folks at Angelo State to think that they are the only one that has to do it all on their own. To plug them into the ecosystem, get private sector employers involved, get the state and local government involved, so we can all do this together.
That's a great point, and I hope that if you have not made contact with President Hawkins and Angelo State, that you will, because they are doing an amazing job, and they're not the only ones, but they also have an Air Force base there, Goodfellow Air Force Base, that does intelligence, and a lot of that intelligence has to do with the issues that you were talking about. I know time has expired. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman yields back. I now recognize the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Tennant.